Hello everyone! Today I'm doing my last video for my old Skibidi episodes analyses section. There's only 47th episode left, and I'll break it down for you completely. I'm gonna show you all the hidden details and Easter eggs that you could have missed. What kind of secret did Titan TV Man have all this time? How did Skibidi manage to get the knowledge of his core? And what's the actual role of Dafuq in the entire series? If you want to know all the answers to these questions and even more, put all your business aside for the next 10 minutes and prepare for a crazy ride. Get your tea and snacks ready because this is gonna be awesome. Let's go. The episode starts with the gorgeous view. Before all the action is about to begin, we can see a large detailed location that is kind of resemblant of the ones that also served as the background for episodes 60 and 65. It's kind of gloomy and looks a lot like a desert due to the amount of sand, dust in the air, and the distinctive maroon color of the sky. I noticed two large abandoned ships, and there's the funny contrast between the foreground and the background of this map. Here we see the old ruined buildings that seemed to be bombed some time ago, while in the distance we can notice skyscrapers and cell towers, meaning there are some signs of civilization in this place. Earlier in my analysis of the 62nd episode, I expressed an idea that Skibidi Universe's events are probably taking place somewhere in northern Africa in countries like Libya, based on the outlook of the landscape. I took a guess that the Skibidi Toilet's main base is located somewhere nearby, so I can say that in this episode, Titan TV Man got as close to it as possible in the early stage of the war between the Alliance and Skibidi. POV cameraman is located somewhere on the roof, and I think this guy occupied one of the best seats to watch all the action. As he looks to the right side, we see the infected Titan speaker man dashing through the whole area at the speed of a bullet. As he's doing that, there's a vortex of black mist appearing in the center of the screen that indicates about Titan TV Man arrival. As you remember from the previous episodes, Titan TV Man is chasing the infected bro in order to remove the parasite out of him and free the guy from his miseries. He already managed to rip off one of the speakers. Titan Speaker Man had to get closer to the parasite, so Titan Speaker Man fled. But where to, you ask? Well, as Titan TV Man says by himself, pathetic trap.
Pathetic trap.
And he is right, because as the camera turned to the right side even further, we can see one of the G-Man clones arriving straight for the dinner. And if you want to know how I detect who's clone of G-Man and who's not, and why G-Man has clones in general, I recommend you to also watch the video I've made on G-Man after this one. But it's definitely the clone and not the original G-Man we see here. I can tell it based on the shape of his toilet. He has an upturned toilet tank without any protrusions above. Plus, Dafuq has already proved my theory about G-Man's clones in the fourth part of episode 67, where we saw 3 clones with different fighting abilities. To tell you even more, I think we will see this exact clone in the second part of episode 57 as well, but with the upgraded lasers. G-Clone smiles maliciously and strikes Titan TV Man with all the lasers he got at the moment, which is still an insane amount of damage. But thankfully, the big speaker our cinema man Chad has on his chest as the form of his core's protection is sturdy enough to resist these blows. Titan TV Man responds with the craziest ability he has, the red TV glow. G-Clone is writhing in agony. This glow probably got him so bad that he even stopped shooting his lasers for a few seconds. By the way, I really wonder what would happen if this G-Clone was a tiny bit smarter and would hit the TV screen of this Titan instead of the speaker protecting his core. Would Titan TV Man's screen break from the lasers, or would it withstand it anyways? Well, what's done is done already. Yeah, buddy, I see that it's really rough for you. Well deserved, though. But there's one interesting detail I noticed about POV. Despite the fact that he's located quite close to the source of red glow, he doesn't even want to look away from it, although he had the visual disturbances affecting his camera screen. And I have a really cool theory on this, but I'll tell you about it a little bit later. As the G-Clone is busy with being in absolute agony, Titan TV Man starts slowly crossing the distance between them, which looks pretty sick. But when he is about to punish the guy, the nasty snitch gets to him from behind and cuts both of his speakers off on the sly. Well, dude, you get zero respect for that. What a weasel. This guy has something interesting about his appearance, though. Instead of an ordinary toilet tank, he has some sort of cistern that reminds me a lot of the one that Skibidi from episode 44 had. It's also interesting how he has a squared stand under his toilet tank, which reminded me of the one radioactive toilet from episode 20 had. On the left side of it, You can also notice a weird symbol which cannot be deciphered that easily. But I've noticed that the same symbol could be seen quite often in different Skibidi Toilet multiverse episodes produced by Dom Studio. For instance, on the helicopter Skibidi in episode 8. This symbol can probably indicate some sort of special Skibidi agents, and its goal may be to differentiate the ordinary Skibidi Toilets from the more advanced. By the way, I really like seeing different little interlacings between the original Dafuq series and multiverse episodes, and I noticed how much more frequent it became by episode 68. But let's move back to the Snitch. He also has 2 robotic hands, and we could see the upgraded versions of those hands in the second part of episode 68 on Welder Skibidi from the engineering room. And as a cherry on top, he has some weird wires around his head, plus some sort of device on his eyes. And I have a theory about these devices, and about this guy in general. In episode 65, we saw the same guy controlling one of G-Man's clones. So think about this. What if this guy was one of those Skibidi that were specially trained to control G-clones? And what if those 2 weird tools on his nape are devices allowing to move G-clone's eyebrows? And what if this little thing on his eyes is the protective device allowing him to look through the lasers in the moment of attack without getting blinded? I think it would be really interesting. Titan TV Man turns around to the disgusting Snitch with the phrase, "You are so bad."
You're so bad.
After that remark, he punishes the little Sly with one of his blades. And check out the way this Skibidi's mouth operates in that moment. That's creepy and hilarious at the same time. Skibidi helplessly raises his saws in the air and then drops to the ground after getting a huge smack from Titan TV Man where he belongs. What's interesting about his fate is that he probably didn't die, but just disappeared from the battlefield. And that proves my theory how he probably broke his toilet tank and was transferred into the G-clone afterwards. But the battle isn't even close to being over, because just a second after that, Titan TV Man's back gets hit by the G-clone's lasers, as he's just on the same level of slyness as the previous guy was. I think he aimed at the fuel pack on the Titan's back, because the way it explodes so quick supports my guess. You can see the turbine and the main speaker falling off our guy, which bears his center core, making it vulnerable. But Titan TV Man doesn't have any time to lose his coolness. He uses the retractable grappling hook on his left hand and gets one of the laser's launchers G-Clone has. He pulls the prick as close to himself as possible, and the red glow comes into play once more. Damn, he's so cool, I barely have any words to describe it. And mind you guys that he's not even upgraded here. I swear Titan TV Man is one of the most powerful and ingenious characters in the whole series, and he could have easily ended G-Clone right there if only Titan Speakerman hadn't interfered. He jumps right on top of our guy's head and strikes his TV screen with the knife, causing it to break. By the way, the texture of the Titan TV Man's broken screen is identical to the one we saw in the third part of episode 67, when Skibidi Scientist was hit. I think it was clearly a reference to episode 47. Also, pay your attention how one of the speakers on Titan Speakerman are missing, which proves my theory about his weakened state, causing him to avoid the open combat with Titan TV Man, as he may pull out the parasite out of Speakerman's body. But this situation will change around 10 episodes later. As in episode 56, the infected Titan Speakerman will appear on the screen again, completely redesigned with upgraded speakers protecting the parasite that controls his body. Then we'll have lots of protection around them, making it difficult to do anything with it. And then it wouldn't be that simple for anybody to rip them off at all. As Titan TV Man shakes the infected bro off his back, we can see the ripped-off turbine laying on the ground. My guess is that it's been left here after the battle was over, and that it was picked up by Skibidi later and transported into their lab. That's how a part of Titan TV Man's gear was examined, and then used to research the structure of his core. Because if you remember, after this fight, Skibidi got a lot of improvements both for G-Man and Skibidi Scientist, based on the technology they learnt from Titan TV Man. Skibidi Scientist got the ability to teleport, the main TV screen that also is able to switch between the red and blue glow, and also the speaker protecting his chest. All these upgrades was probably put into use after this turbine's examination, while Titan TV Man is getting fried from all the sides. My poor Chad. Skibidi Strider can also be spotted in the distance ahead. We can remember this guy from the second part of episode 57 as well, where he had the exact same welder mask and katanas in his robotic hands, which he tried to unsuccessfully use on Titan Cameraman. His hands have drill-like openings katanas are attached to, and his toilet tank is kind of unusual as well. It's more narrow and rare. The robotic hands he has also bring me back to episode 68, making me think how much more common those hands will be in the future episodes. Earlier, these cool hands could have been seen only on some special Skibidi, but soon they may be spotted on all the Skibidi, I assume, because progress does not stand still. Then we can see the parasite dashing straight to the place where Titan TV Man was squeezed between two enemies, and now the point of the whole trap is clear to me. Skibidi wanted to infect Titan TV Man the same way it happened to Titan Speaker Man. And I think it actually could have happened, as Titan TV Man was not resistant of parasites at that time. And I also assume this fight was the reason for him to heavily upgrade himself in order to become absolutely untouchable for any parasites. But don't worry guys, Titan TV Man is too smart for those games even without any upgrades yet. The only thing this nasty parasite thing can catch is the black mist, because Titan teleported himself. Look how the parasite is rolling his head in disbelief. That's really funny. And he's not the only one who's sad. Look at Skibidi Strider trotting away with his back turned to POV. The poor guy really looks disappointed. G-Clone releases all his anger upon the poor POV, which gets critically hit by the lasers. He then most likely falls off the roof into the opening of some building. And now, it's time for my crazy theory involving POV and the secret agent. Here he is, by the way, leaning over POV's face. It seems like Dafuq takes the protective lens off POV's camera. I think Dafuq was in this building all this time, observing the battle that was intended to be a trap for Titan TV Man. And now, I have a few thoughts on what was happening in this episode. First of all, I think Dafuq knew of the trap long before that, and he wanted to record the following events so that the Alliance could see that. To achieve that, he must have prepared this POV beforehand by giving him the protective lens that helped him survive the red glow effect. And by the way, it was the first episode where Secret Agent actually interacted with some of the characters instead of just being the silent observer. So I have my second point based on that. I think POV was no other than the White Terracotta Brother, because I have a strong feeling POV could have stayed alive in the end of this episode. What if that was the actual first interaction between them, leading them to cooperate in further episodes? I have a ton of information about the secret agent now, and honestly guys, I want to develop my theory on the role he's playing in this series, in the separate video dedicated to him. Also, I am soon to re-upload my analysis of the first 4 episodes of Skibidi Toilets that was deleted by YouTube, so the playlist of my analyses of all Skibidi episodes will be complete. So be sure to subscribe to my channel not to miss my new videos, because I really want to make good entertaining content for you guys, and I appreciate your support. And that was me, ISOTOILET. See ya!